right, we are here. I think we're live. David, can you hear me?
Yes, I can, brother.
Woo! We are here. We're live for the first ever RGC live podcast, and we're streaming live to YouTube. And we had some technical glitches, like right at the last second, but I think we should be good.
Absolutely.
All right. All right, so I have some folks behind me watching. We have the Macho Man Randy Savage, and we also have the Ultimate Warrior. And then we'll keep the chat going. I'll have you monitor that as we kind of go through and we go through Quentin Tarantino movies. We're huge movie fans, you and I, and obviously we're in the retro gaming community. But we thought we would do something different, and we launched this RGC show a few months ago, and now we're doing our
Yeah,
first podcast. So
Yeah, it's been a little bit, and what we originally talked about doing, right, was the Sarah Connor Chronicles. Um, but we also wanted to do movies, entertainment, uh, gaming. This is what RGC is. It's honestly whatever Eric and I want to talk about.
yeah,
Yeah.
we talked about that. We could do a podcast on movies. We do a podcast on video games. We do a podcast on like whatever's trending. And hey, real quickly, I hate to cheap plug myself, but you have a nice shirt you're wearing there, David.
It is a very nice shirt. It is the game mode retro shirt in all of its glory.
Dude,
It
I
is
love that.
fantastic.
I love it. Hey, I'm happy to have you support the channel and the shirt, but dude, I'm pumped. My first ever shirt. I'm not gonna lie. I mean, I made them, obviously, but freaking awesome.
Yeah, it's awesome, man. My kids took the package last night, so I had to open it today. But it was like, oh, that's awesome. Stickers included, right?
Yeah, yeah, yes. Stickers included in the package as well. So, but yes, we appreciate you guys stopping by. Definitely post in the chat. Bill wants a T-shirt. I know that I have one with your name on it, Bill. There's a medium, a schmedium for you, Bill. So, with retro comparisons, thanks for stopping by. Okay, so I have a beer. David, what are you drinking?
Uh, I'm double fisting it.
Oh, nice. Oh, dude. All right, look at you. You're Modelo and was that whiskey?
Yeah, Jameson. Yeah,
James,
yeah,
nice,
yeah.
awesome. Okay, so we'll go ahead and we'll jump right in. Thanks for those that are in the chat and that are watching. We appreciate you stopping by. So we're starting out with basically going through all of Quentin Tarantino's movies. We'll talk about some of the movies he's also acted in, but we're going to start out with his first ever film, Reservoir Dogs. And I'll let you start it off, David. What's some of your history with this movie and what you think about it when you first saw it?
So I think I first saw this movie. I think I was a freshman in high school, and a buddy of mine, or I'm sorry, I was in eighth grade, and I was at a friend's house, and his dad turned it on for us, which is totally inappropriate, for eighth graders to watch
Right.
Reservoir Dogs. But it's such a fantastic movie, and I think like I've got the uh, special edition here. That's the gas can with some really cool things in it. Um, but I think Reservoir Dogs speaks volumes about the director that Tarantino is.
Hmm. Yeah, no, 100%. So my first ever film I ever saw of his was Pulp Fiction, and then I went back and I saw Reservoir Dogs. So I was in, I think when I saw Pulp Fiction, obviously it came out in '94, but when I first saw it and really paid attention to it, I was a freshman in college, and we watched it in film appreciation. So my teacher
Nice.
had us watch this, and I went back and I did some research and I watched Reservoir Dogs. So I remember like when I first saw the scene with was it Michael Madsen and like the ear with the cop and everything, and he's like
Yeah.
cuts the dude. Like I just remember, yes, you have to go into his movies knowing that they're going to be gory and they're going to be kind of gross, but the overall stories. We talked about this yesterday. I wanted to mention this. It's like, and Bill will appreciate this as well, but it's like Seinfeld. Like it's very typical, like day by day stuff, like almost about nothing. But it's like the dialogue in his movies are just so fantastic.
Well, it absolutely is, and this is his first film, right? And so, and I can see that from watching the movie. I've seen it so many times, but the unique thing about this film for me is that it's shot like I don't know, 60, maybe 70% of this movie are shot in one location inside of the warehouse.
Right.
And so he didn't have a ton of money and he made it work. I mean, not only is it a great film, it's one of the greatest films ever made.
Yeah, and like speaking of it, you never actually see in Reservoir Dogs, you never actually see the whole heist go down. You see the aftermath of the heist. You see,
Right.
like what happens like when they're trying to hide from the police and all this kind of stuff. And that's what I like about, we'll talk about that a lot tonight, but Tarantino is really just, brilliant when it comes to movie making. And I believe, I always forget, but I don't think he went to like traditional school. I think he went and he kind of dropped out and he just kind of taught himself and cinematography and things like that. So I don't think that he had a lot of like professional, experience realistically.
So for me, when I think about movies and I think about directors, there's two categories. You've got like the Bruckheimers, the Jason Bays, the Ridley Scotts, the Steven Spielbergs, all that stuff. And then the other category, you've got Tarantino, just
Right.
because like he's out to make works of art.
Right.
Like, and then that's what he wants to do. He's making films that he wants to see, that he's passionate about, and having a YouTube channel. And you understand, like we want to put out what we want and what we want this to be.
Right. Yeah, I mean, like, we're obviously sometimes we're gonna do certain videos. Like I know you and I, like our favorite videos are not the pickups, but we know we get a lot of views on pickup videos. We talk about it all the time, right? Like those are the ones that like people want to see, And so I think that there's a little bit of that in his movies. There's a little bit of the mainstream, and that's one thing. The actors, he always manages to get really good actors or actors that were once really good, and then kind of revives those actors. So if you have anything else to say about Reservoir Dogs, we'll move to Pulp Fiction because I think we can speak a lot about Pulp Fiction. So I'm going to move over to that. Let me just jump on that here.
So the thing about Tarantino's cast is he has a band of brothers and a group of guys that he's used throughout every one of his films, and they are great actors. And over the last couple of years, we've seen Brad Pitt and Leo come into the fold. But yeah, man, he definitely picks some all stars.
Oh, dude. So I remember. So I have Pulp Fiction on the screen now, and when I first saw Pulp Fiction, like I said, I was in a freshman in college, and I was at film appreciation class, and we were watching this, and we watched it over 2 parts, I think, over 2 sessions, and so at that time when I saw it, Bruce Willis was like super popular again, and John Travolta super popular, Samuel L. Jackson, but at the time that Pulp Fiction came out, these actors were more, I don't want to say unknown, and I don't want to say washed up, but they were having like a downturn in their career. And this really revived Samuel L. Jackson, John Travolta, and Bruce Willis. It really just reinvigorated their entire careers.
Yeah, John Travolta was doing stuff like the Baby movie,
Oh,
Look Who's Talking
look who's
Now, and
talking.
stuff
Yeah.
like that.
Yep.
Yeah. And so yeah, this was a big role for him, and I mean, just fantastically done. I mean, Pulp Fiction has the greatest one-liners of any movie.
Dude, like, say what again? Do they speak English in what? Yeah, some of the dialogue. And one of the things that I really noticed and what got me really into why I took film appreciation and why I really liked, film and the way things come together is his overall cinematography, the way he shoots a scene. So in the scene where in Pulp Fiction where Jules and John Travolta's character are actually they're in the hallway going to find this guy Brett to get their money back basically for their boss Marcellus Wallace. He keeps the camera down at one end of the scene, and they're talking all the way down the hall, and all you hear is the audio. It says like you're right there, but they keep the video and the camera all the way down the hall, and all you see is the talking. It's little things like that, and like I'll watch stuff with my wife now too, and she'll do the same thing. Oh, that's a really cool shot because we've come to really appreciate when things are different and not like the normal.
Yeah, they're over there having a conversation about giving foot massages.
Yes.
And it's a unique shot. Like he purposefully makes him, walk him down the hall.
Right.
Yeah, his style is just unmatched.
Totally, and I think that's where it's like at that time, a lot of filmmakers weren't doing it like that, and it was just a little bit more, I guess, cookie cutter, and he was doing things differently. And again, like these movies are, Pulp Fiction. There's a lot of pretty raunchy themes in it, and I know some people like don't like it for that or whatever, but yeah, there's definitely some some weird things and going on, but I do think that overall the script for this was just great. So if you guys have not seen this recently or it's been a while, like you've never seen it, definitely it's worth it. This is one of my favorite movies of all time, and I know it's sometimes like, oh, people like Pulp Fiction, but like this was the movie that like this is what made a lot of other movies. Like that's what like Scorsese and like different folks like what's his name that's friends with Tarantino, Robert Rodriguez. A lot of this stuff came from these kinds of movies.
Yeah, it was definitely a game changer. I mean, you had some violent movies, horror type slasher movies, stuff like that. But when this came out, it was a game changer.
It was, it really was. And again, I think one of the reasons why we like to talk about this is because everybody kind of takes these things differently and like the way that you interpret certain movies. And so I did finally, we're going to talk about it tonight, but I did finally finish One Night, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, and we'll talk about that. So I know that you're excited to talk about that one, but a different take on it too. Well, I'm kind of interested to hear your thoughts. I did some reading about it afterwards about like, obviously we'll talk about it, but like all the Manson stuff is also tied in and different takes on it. So a lot of really cool things, but I'm trying to think what else about Pulp Fiction should we hit on?
There's just so much, man. From Bruce Willis being a boxer to then having the ass watch. The gimp.
I carried this up my ass, like Christopher Walken. Yeah,
he wants you to have this.
Yeah, listen, man. I used to be able to do pretty good Christopher Walken.
Yeah. Oh,
that was great. And then just like a lot of one-liners like, "Where's Zed? Zed's dead, honey."
Yeah, Zed's dead. Yeah.
Yeah, Zed's dead. Okay, let me ask you this question. What do you in this scene where Marcellus Wallace, who's played by Ving Rhames, who's fantastic in this movie, they basically like he's in the mafia, like he's some type of like boss or whatnot, and Samuel Jackson and Travolta's character, they work for him, and when he opens the case to show like what's inside, like all you see in the movie is you see a glow, and a lot of like the online rhetoric is that like he was the devil, like, or something along those lines.
Okay.
What do you think about that all that stuff? Like, what do you think some of that foreshadowing might have been about?
I'm not sure, honestly, because whenever it pops up and it shines and all that, I just kind of took it at face value of like I thought it was gold, just from the shot, what it looks like. But yeah, we don't ever know.
Right. We don't really find out, but it definitely leads you to believe like who is he, like what is he really. They don't really ever go again, like we talked about it in the first film that he did. We see the aftermath of the scene. We don't really ever find out like who is this guy, why does why is people working for him, why are people after him, all this crazy stuff. But this story, again, go back and see this film, watch it again if you haven't seen it in a long time. I want to watch it again. It's been a while. So Pulp Fiction, one of my favorite films of all time. Uma Thurman, we haven't really mentioned her that much, but Uma Thurman in this is fantastic. Obviously, she goes on to do Kill Bill Volumes 1 and 2 with him, which we'll get to that as well. Wasn't a huge fan when I first saw those. I watched them again over the years, and I really like those a lot more. But a lot of good stuff that we can keep talking about tonight.
Yeah, and there was actually another movie that he was writing or trying to write with the Vega brothers. You had Vincent Vega, John Travolta,
yep.
And then you had the other Vega from Reservoir Dogs, and this movie was going to be about the Vega brothers, and I think it was like Vega V or something like that. But he got a lot of enthusiasm about making it happen, but he goes on to talk about how the characters are dead, and he didn't want to mess up the timeline. But anyways.
No, that's a great point. Again, a lot of this stuff here, we're going to kind of go off on tangents and like add this different, like you always call canon. We always add that stuff into these conversations. So no, that's great. A lot of good things that I didn't even know about that. I think I remember hearing about it, but that's great. Awesome. All right, so let's go over to, and as I'm going through, we're going in sequential order of release. So his next film after Pulp Fiction was Jackie Brown. So I'll let you go first. Your history of Jackie Brown.
Jackie Brown, I am not a fan of.
Okay.
It's just it's his one film. So he has two films that I really can't get into, and Jackie Brown is one of those. Uh, I remember seeing it on cable TV, obviously censored back then because that's what we
Yeah.
did back then. We censored things,
Right.
uh, and I never could get into it. I mean, I remember the scene in the parking lot where Harvey Keitel shoots his girlfriend because she's just annoying the piss out of him.
Oh,
Um,
De Niro. De Niro. Yeah, 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 yeah.
yeah, but like I said, I'm just not a huge Jackie Brown fan.
No, 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 no worries. But time out. I want to call. You mentioned the censoring. So my wife watches the Yellowstone show, and I walked
Okay,
upstairs the other day, and I didn't realize this, but like they can say the F word now on TV.
they do, yeah. So like I came home from work early a few months back or whatever, and on cable TV like FX or whatever, two p.m. in the afternoon, they were showing Deadpool uncensored on
What?
cable TV. How do you how do you do that? I don't
That's
get it.
crazy. Actually, yeah. And I remember, I think I saw Deadpool one time, and I saw it in the theater with Bill actually. And that
Nice.
there's like isn't like every other word like the F word in that movie? Like,
We saw the second one in theaters, and two rows down from us, there was a dad and his little boy. Like, I
oh
mean,
man, that's awkward. Yeah.
why?
Yeah, you're right though. Like when I remember when I was a kid, like I think if you turned on like Comedy Central after like 11 p.m., they would say the F word uncensored, like on like stand up and things. But to be like 8 o'clock at night, I don't know. It's just so weird to be get used to that. But all right, so getting back on track for us. So Jackie Brown, this is actually is funny. This is one of my favorite Tarantino
Oh,
movies.
nice.
And I think it's so Robert Forster's in this, he actually passed away like I think last year or 2 years ago. He was also in Breaking Bad. He's in tons of stuff. He's one of my favorite actors. He's so great. So he's in this. Samuel Jackson's in this. Robert De Niro's in this. A bunch of different people. Chris Tucker has a very small role. And it's great. Michael Keaton has a small role in this. Also, one of the other guys there, I can't think of his name. He's also in Breaking Bad. He was one of the Nazis, one of the bad guys in Breaking Bad. But really good story. It definitely, I would challenge you to go back and watch it again. It's after all these years, but it just, again, we talked. It's slow. Some of his stories are slow,
Yeah.
and sometimes the payoffs are for you and far in between. But this one, yeah, that scene where De Niro shoots Samuel L. Jackson's girlfriend just because she's annoying him.
Yeah.
She's annoying him, so she just pulls out his gun and shoots her, like
Yeah.
just like it's nothing. And
Yeah.
but
Broad daylight.
broad daylight. But Jackie Brown is fantastic. Overall, I think yes, definitely one of like the less popular ones. But I don't know. It's one of the. I think again, I kind of fell in love with. I went from Pulp Fiction to Reservoir Dogs to Jackie Brown, and worked my way. Obviously, kept going through, but. Good stuff. I would challenge anyone listening to go back and watch this one as well. And then you, David, you rewatch it. I think it's might have been a while, so you might like it.
No, that's a good point. 'Cause I remember seeing it on, like I said, cable TV in spurts here and there. No, yeah, I'm gonna have to check it out for sure. Especially now that I know that's one of your favorites. I'll have to do
Yeah,
that.
yeah. I was so excited to watch Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, and
Yeah.
we're getting there. So I'll tell you my thoughts on that too. All right, cool. So we know we still have some folks, sitting with us, and continue share in the chat and ask us or tell us anything that you like about the films or what you like about us, what you don't like about us. You can tell us to go f off or whatever, and we'll take all the feedback very seriously. All right.
Uh,
So next we have after Jackie Brown, we have Kill Bill Volume 1. So this came out in, let's see, this came out in 2003, and the second volume came out in 2004.
yeah, so I was working a night shift at Long John Silver's
Oh,
when this
John
movie came out.
Silver's.
Long John Silver's, and we actually, at the end of the shift, we left and snuck in to go watch Kill Bill
Okay.
because I wasn't old enough at the time, but I was gonna see Kill Bill.
All right. So 2003, I would have been a junior in high school. I don't think I saw it until it came to DVD. And I honestly don't think I probably saw it until 2007, 2008, because I didn't, again, see Pulp Fiction until like 2005, probably. So I would say I watched it little bit late, but I wasn't a huge fan of either one of them for a while. I don't really know why. Like, maybe because it was a little slow and had to tell a longer story, but I wasn't such a big fan of it. But going back and watching, I watched it like last year again, and they're actually really brilliant. Like, again, it's slow storytelling, but Uma Thurman's awesome in it. And was it David Carradine, or is it David Carradine's the one that passed away, right? He was the one that was in this. He was Bill.
That's right. Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
He's an excellent actor. His brother is actually an actor that was in Dexter. So anyway, so he's from like the I want to say the Kung Fu movies, I think, too. He was a big actor in that. But great story, good acting, and what's her name? Who else is in this? Uma Thurman and what's her name? Oh, Lucy Liu.
Yes, that's right. Yeah.
Michael Madsen's in it. Uma Thurman, David Carradine, Daryl Hannah, Lucy Liu, and Michael Madsen. Yeah, great cast. And that's one thing, dude. People will like anybody will again like DiCaprio. We got like Brad Pitt. People love being in Tarantino movies.
Yeah, Michael Madsen is one of my favorite actors in Hollywood. He goes from working, in Reservoir Dogs to being Jesse's dad in Free Willy.
Yes, I was gonna ask if what movie was in. He was in all 3 Free Willies. Yep, he was the father in that. Yep,
that's right.
That's funny, man. No, it is funny. Like, I actually recently watched Free Willy 1, I think, and I mean, I know it sound like stupid, but I just love those movies when I was a kid. Like, those were huge. Like, those were big movies when I was a kid. And Michael Madsen, you're right. Michael Madsen can be like this murdering dude cutting off someone's ear, and then he's like the father to this kid that's trying to save a freaking whale.
Yeah, I actually just recently watched the first 2 with my older girls, and yeah, I look at him and I'm like, that's not Jesse's dad.
Isn't it so funny? Like, as we're getting older, and we show stuff to our kids, and like they're either like they like it or they don't. There's some things that like my daughter, I showed her like DuckTales and she loved it. I showed my son when he was younger, like, remember the movie Blank Check?
Yes.
It had like, I forget the kid's name, but he basically stole $1 million and he bought a house and all this kind of stuff. And sometimes some of the things they like, and some of the things look at me like, wow, you're such a boomer.
Like, my kids love Blank Check. They really do.
I think it's on Disney Plus now, right? A lot of it's great about Disney Plus. A lot of the stuff that we grew up with is on there, and our kids can watch it now.
Yeah, there is a bit of an awkward relationship between him and the older woman. It's kind of awkward.
Oh, Shay.
Yes, Shay, and whatever the kid's name is.
All right, pop quiz. What other movie was she in? It was around the same time frame. She actually had the same name. She was in it for...
You got me.
When I tell you, you're probably like, oh, yeah, Dumb and Dumber. She was one of the criminals in Dumb and Dumber. Her name was actually Shay, the same name. I remember when I was a kid, my brother and I thought that was hilarious. Like, she's in 2 different movies with the same name.
Oh, I haven't seen Dumb and Dumber in so long, man.
I know, man. Did you watch the newest one, Dumb and Dumber?
I tried.
Yeah. It was trying too hard. I wasn't a fan.
Well, it's like watching Jay and Silent Bob, the reboot.
Yeah.
That came out last year.
Right.
Just couldn't get into it.
No, you're 100% correct on that one. All right, so Kill Bill Volume 1, and then we'll bring up Kill Bill Volume 2. So this obviously concludes the story. This one came out in 2004. I believe they shot both of them at the same exact time. The biggest gripe around these movies was the length. The people didn't like the length. They felt like a lot of Tarantino movies probably could be told a lot less. So if you do some research online and you search a lot of his movies, people have done edits where they like take out stuff that doesn't really matter and they just make it so much shorter. Because a lot of his films are like, again, like Once Upon a Time in Hollywood was 2 hours and 45 minutes. And I'm not going to lie, we'll get there. It was a slow burn. It really, really was. But if you go back and appreciate what he's done, it's awesome stuff.
And I didn't see this one, the second one, until probably, honestly, like 2011, 2012. And it was so far gone from the first one, I had to go back and watch the first one. But the second one, to me, is just so much better than the first one.
Yes. No, I agree. I liked Kill Bill Volume 1 better. I feel like 2 kind of had to rush through it. Maybe I don't know if that. I felt like it was a little bit, even though it was long, it felt like maybe not, not as good. But
I mean, they bury Uma Thurman alive, which is just a horrifying thought. I mean,
right.
good night, and just a crazy scene.
Well, you don't want to be buried alive, David?
Oh man.
Like, my biggest thing is I don't like spiders. That's like my biggest phobia. I hate spiders. I don't know.
Yeah, and then the like little guy hops out of the grave, like gets tossed a beer or whatever, but little bitty guy digging a hole.
Yeah, yeah. That's awesome.
It's a good movie. It's definitely. But yeah, these two weren't my favorites either. But they're unique in their own right, and
Yeah.
he does put his spin on them that he's trying to showcase. These older kung fu movies.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's where a lot of his background comes from. The kung fu movies, like different, like Martin Scorsese and directors like that. And just his writing is just is again, it's lack of a better term, like Seinfeld type, where it's just very basic, everyday type of stuff, and some of it's definitely kind of crazy and out there, but awesome. All right, so we're moving along here. We're going to go over to now another one that we talked about that I don't think you have a lot of time with was Death Proof. Death Proof came out in 2007, and this was released with Robert Rodriguez's Planet Terror, like double feature grindhouse type thing. And I did see this one when it came out, not in the theater, but I did buy the Blu-ray or the DVD right away. So this one features Kurt Russell, Zoe Bell, and Rosario Dawson. It's about a car that is like death proof, and it's a little crazy, but Kurt Russell is friggin' crazy and phenomenal in this movie.
Yeah, and I have not seen all of this one. But yeah, what I do remember seeing is like he chases these girls down, right? In this car that's just invincible, and he's flipping it through the air and destroying this car. But yeah, he's a maniac in this movie.
Dude,
I did see more of Planet Terror than I did this one though.
That's funny. So Planet Terror is one with what's her name, with the gun on her leg, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I've seen the most. I think I've seen all that one too. But yeah, man, like there's some crazy stuff in this film. Kurt Russell, again, an actor at this time that was probably more not washed up, it's the right word, but just not as relevant, I guess. And he comes into this movie, and I do think it receives some pretty good, a good following. There's a lot of good actresses and actors in this movie. It just overall, I think a pretty good script. So this is one I would challenge you to go back and watch again. I recently watched it. I was on vacation a couple weeks ago, and I love it, man. It's great.
Nice. Yeah, I'm gonna have to check it out for sure.
All right, so we're gonna talk. I'm gonna let you lead this one out because I know you were excited about this one a lot. So we're going to Inglourious Basterds next.
Oh yes. My goodness. Oh my goodness. Let me ask you, when you think about Inglourious Basterds, what is the number one scene that comes to your mind?
Damn it, David. I'll be honest, man. I haven't seen it in so long. I'm trying to think. Like, was it the one where they kill the Nazis, like the crazy? I'm trying to think. What's the one thing that comes to your mind? Jog my memory a little bit.
So, as much as I love this movie, and it's a fantastic movie from start to finish, but the one scene that always resonates me is they capture a few Nazis or whatever,
Mm-hmm.
and Brad Pitt's telling this guy like, hey man, if you want to eat a sauerkraut sandwich again, you need to. And he tells him like, hey man, this dude's gonna come out here and he's gonna beat your ass to death with a baseball bat. And sure enough, man, this dude comes out and lines them up, man, and he hits him so damn hard with that baseball bat that it literally knocks the dust off of his head, man.
Dude, I don't remember. Like, I think I saw this one time. I think I saw this in the theater when it came out, and this was 2008, I think, right? 2009. So I did see this one in the theater. I don't even remember all of the overall plot. I got to go back and watch this one again. I wasn't. God, I'm gonna sound like a moron. Wasn't John Goodman in this too? Am I completely wrong on that? I feel like what?
Oh man.
I feel like. I'm gonna look it up real quick. But what else? What else about this was one of your like Brad Pitt's great acting in this?
And then yeah, so Brad Pitt is phenomenal in this movie. And then it's got a really unique storyline where Christopher Waltz is the Hans, and
Yes.
he's hunting down Jews, and it's 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 extremely violent. It's over the top violent. You got Hugo Stiglitz that goes around and is a German himself, is a Nazi himself, but he likes murdering these German officers. It's just for me the scalping. Uh, it's just a really good bloody Tarantino movie.
Yeah, it is, and you're right. This film here. I feel like really this made Christoph Waltz was around for a long time, but this one really brought him to like be like more like a villain, and I think because of this he was like a Bond villain and things like that.
Yeah.
But yes, not John Goodman. It's Mike Myers is what I was thinking about. I know not nowhere near the same actor, but I knew there was like a different kind of actor that was in this. It was Michael Myers was in this as well.
Well, you've also got Michael Fassbender, which is a phenomenal actor.
Yep.
I'm so disappointed
Excellent.
that we're not going to get a Alien Awakening, a sequel to The Covenant, which he was awesome in.
If Bill is still in the chat, I think Bill's still here. He asked him how he feels about Alien, like the new Alien movies, like Covenant, like it,
Yeah.
like he told me not to watch them, but I went and watched them anyway, and like they are so disappointing. But you're right, like I would have loved to have gotten a sequel to some of those.
But then I mean you got like yeah, Mike Myers is in it, Fassbender, Eli Roth, Christopher Waltz is phenomenal in this movie, and you're right, he went on to be the Bond villain. He's also in Django Unchained.
Yes,
Uh,
we'll talk about that next.
so when you see the cast that he puts together, he has like a band of brothers of people that he uses kind of over and over again that really make these movies shine.
Yeah, Bill just said so underwhelming. I told you. I told you. Yeah. So yes. All right. So Inglorious Bastards. I do think I have to go back and watch that one again. I I'm not like again. I'm not like saying no. Like I don't like I'm not. I don't want to watch his newer stuff. I have watched it. I just have to. It's been a while since I feel like I saw it when it came out. So um, go back and watch that one soon. All right, so next you mentioned it, but next we're going to Django Unchained, and I saw this in the theater with my father, and it was an interesting movie. I liked it a lot. We'll talk about the plot a little bit here and there, but what were your overall impressions of this when you first saw it?
That's a perfect father-son bonding experience.
Like a spaghetti western with like so much death and like blood
Oh,
and like it was bad. It was bad.
well, it's. I mean, we talk about him being a trendsetter. I mean, this is a movie that's like based off of slavery, and it's based off of some white guys like having slaves that beat the brakes out of one another.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
go ahead.
No, you go, you go, you go.
It's one that I really like, Django Unchained.
Yeah, no, I did too. So this one takes place like what in times of slavery? Is it like right when I think it's when it's all going on, right? Yeah, it's still pretty much it's going on pretty hardcore. Samuel L. Jackson's in this. Obviously the main character Jamie Foxx, and then DiCaprio's in this. This one I just remember I loved the ending of it. It's super gory. Like again, like the last 15 minutes is like nothing but like just shooting and stuff like that. But I think Tarantino's in this too. Tarantino puts himself in this movie as like a snake herder or something towards the end. I think he gets blown up. But this one's great. It definitely. Oh yeah. Don Johnson's in this one too. So Don Johnson was
Yep.
one of the slave owners at the plantation, and like he does a fantastic job.
Yes. Oh,
Sad
Big
story,
Daddy.
but yes,
Big,
Big Daddy.
Big Daddy. Big
Yeah,
Daddy.
Big Daddy. And Samuel L. Jackson's great in this movie. This one got
Jonah Hill.
who's
Jonah
Jonah Hill
Hill.
in this?
Jonah Hill is on the horses with, I guess, the KKK as they're trying to surround um, his cart.
Yes.
And like that is one of the most hysterical scenes in a movie that I've ever watched. They're going off about the bags on these guys' heads and how the holes are cut wrong, and somebody's wife had to do it, and she did the best they could, but they were crap.
Yeah. No, yeah. As I'm like again, I'm remembering things as we're going through a lot of this stuff, and like this one I remember was again at times hard to watch. This also launched the career of I can't think of her name right now off the top of my head. Washington, Kerry Washington. Is that it?
Yeah, yes, yeah.
Yeah, she was
She,
awesome in this.
yeah, she was his girlfriend, Broomhilda,
Yes, yes.
or his wife. His wife, yeah.
Yeah, it was his wife. Yep, yep. And super sad some of the stuff, and I know they got some some heat in different things, but this is also a good one. I would check this one out. Django Unchained. Again, a little bit long, but this one I thought was just worth it because this one had so much, it's a good storytelling. So definitely worth a watch in this one.
And there was a lot of action I felt paced
Yes.
throughout the whole movie.
Yeah, 100%. I feel like yeah, like with Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, slow with a really big ending, but a
Yeah.
slow burn. This one was more action packed, more like Pulp Fiction maybe, but a really good story as well. All right, so the next one we're going over to is The Hateful Eight. The Hateful Eight came out in 2015. So Django Unchained came out in 2012. This came out in 2015. There's usually 4 or 5 years in between, Tarantino movies for the most part. So this one was 2015, and this one features Samuel L. Jackson, Kurt Russell, Jennifer Jason Leigh. A lot of people are in this movie.
Yeah, there is a all-star cast, and I talked about it earlier. How there's two movies that I didn't like, and this is the other one. I don't like at all the Hateful Eight. It's so over the top bloody. Like I'm okay with blood, but this
Mm-hmm.
is like just too it's too much. Like at the beginning when he's beating the brakes off of or throughout the whole movie, Kurt Russell beats up uh, Jennifer Jason Leigh, her
Right,
character.
right.
He punches her in the mouth, and just this excess of blood just spews. The whole movie was like that. I wasn't a fan of that.
All right, no, totally fair. I'm looking at this cast. So, like you said, Samuel L. Jackson, Kurt Russell, Jennifer Jason Leigh, Walton Goggins was in tons of stuff. Tim Roth, who's obviously in Pulp Fiction, a bunch of stuff. Michael Madsen, we spoke about. Bruce Dern, a lot of Quentin Tarantino movies. Who's also in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. There's just isn't Channing Tatum in this too at some point? Yeah, Channing Tatum's
Yes,
in this. Like,
yeah, he's her brother trying to rescue her. Yeah,
that's right. But so yeah, this one I like the ending because I do feel like I didn't see the ending coming. I don't want to spoil it for anybody. We're trying to be close with spoilers here. A lot of these things I'm sure people have seen, but we don't want to piss anybody off. So go and I would recommend seeing this one and go into it. Yes, it's going to be gory and like a little over the top. I recently watched it again. I think the first time I watched this, I was like flying for a work conference and I watched it on my phone, like on the airplane. So I watched it again recently on like the big screen, and it's good. I like the story. The story's
it
good.
it does have a good story, and I really like how there's a lot of twists
Mm-hmm.
throughout this whole story. I did like that aspect. I don't like all the over the top blood and gore.
No, I totally agree with you. You're good, dude. You're good there. All right, so we'll move on. We are going now to Once Upon a Time in Hollywood is next up in 2019, which features DiCaprio, Brad Pitt, and Margot Robbie.
And I am so super excited that you watch this.
And what's cool is I watched it like literally last night, so it is in. I've had it on 4K since it came out. I just haven't had the right time to go and watch it, and I finally watched it yesterday. So I will give you my opinion before. Want to do that?
Yeah, yeah, absolutely, yeah.
Okay. So I thought that it was super, super long. It's 2 hours and 41 minutes long, and I remember thinking to myself, like at the end of it. I had to really think. I sat down and I turned off the TV and I thought about it for a little while. I thought it was brilliant, and I actually did like it. So without giving spoilers, I don't want to just in case people that are watching this with us, but it basically is around the time of the Sharon Tate murders, in Hollywood back in what was it like was the 60s?
Yeah, 60s, yeah.
Yeah. And it basically gives a different take. What would have happened if this happened? And again, no spoilers, but dude, the last scene where like DiCaprio is like sees the car and he pisses them off, that
Yeah.
was freaking brilliant. Like just in like the death and like just oh my god, dude.
Hey, when I wanted to walk out of the theaters when I was watching this because it's so slow and you really don't know what it's building to. Like it's building. It's a Tarantino film. You
Right.
know it's building,
Death.
but yeah, you really have no idea. And so, knowing the Tate story and what happens, you're kind of watching all this long, going, when is this going to happen? What's going on with this?
Right.
And so once I saw it, so 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 first off, I mean, this movie really kind of came out and went under the radar. Like, I know there's a lot of people that haven't seen this movie, and it kind of surprises me because it's so brilliant. But at the same time, there wasn't a lot of marketing, a lot of big time exposure when it came out. But Pulp Fiction is great.
Hmm.
But for me, this is my favorite Tarantino movie. He takes he takes a story and just puts his spin on it.
Hmm.
But there's so much storytelling throughout this whole film, uh, and I love Cliff.
Yeah, that's great.
Cliff is awesome. I love Brad Pitt's role in this movie.
Hmm.
He won a Grammy for it. Not a
Yeah,
Grammy.
Emmy. Yeah,
That's music, right?
no, not Emmy.
An Emmy.
Emmy's daytime TV. What's is it Emmy? No, Oscar.
Yes, he won an Oscar. Leo didn't, um, but Brad Pitt, like, he is Cliff.
Dude, so he was so good in this, and the reason why I like this one is because as I'm watching this, I went on to like Wikipedia and I was reading about like the real stuff that happened. And he did such a good job with writing the script. You don't know what's real and what's fake. And it makes you feel like the outcome of this movie. Go and watch this movie and then do your history on Charles Manson and all that crazy shit. But it makes you feel like this is what actually happened. That's what's so cool about this, because you think about, what if that happened? What if he went out there and did that and then these people wouldn't have died? Like, it's insane. There's a really crazy couple scenes with some flamethrowers, and oh man, it's freaking great. I liked it. I liked it a lot.
Yeah, every time I think I've seen it at least 7 times since it came out. I'll put it on for white noise in the background or whatever. But there's some really good one-liners, and just some really good story. And again, he plays to this. He's showing off what it was like, or what it's like to be a washed-up
Right.
actor in the 1960s in Hollywood. He's telling the story of Hollywood.
Right, like the end of the golden age of Hollywood, and it's like a sad, like, read some like reviews about it yesterday, like a goodbye letter to like America from like that age, and again, like all the hippies and a lot of drug use and things like that. But it is like I'm happy that I watched it. I'm happy I just watched it, so I'm so fresh. But the pacing of the movie, again, like I said, it was slow, but you don't really know where it's going to go. But then when you start thinking, okay, like Charles Manson's in this, right? And then like other, people are, throughout the different stories that happened. It's really cool. So it was outside of the box, I feel like,
So there's one segment on this movie, as much as I love it, and this really won't be too much of a spoiler, or really a spoiler at all.
Yeah,
But,
you're good.
um, whenever Sharon Tate is in the theater watching herself,
Yep.
like, I understand what he's going for. I know why he's doing it. Um, but I feel like that could have been trimmed down so much so.
Yeah, yeah, 100%. I think he's trying to show. Yes, he's trying to show the character who she was really excited to see herself, and take pride in that. And but you're right. A lot of that stuff again is a little like filler, I guess. But if you ask Tarantino, and a lot of the times, like there's a lot of interviews with him that he just puts again. He wants it to. I don't say again a lot. Jesus, he wants it to be like everyday life. Like it just. I want to put in like these different scenes that you normally wouldn't put in, because that's what makes him different. And you're right. There's a lot of filler there, but I
Well,
do think it worked.
I think he was really trying to also celebrate who she was.
Right. Yeah. It's like it's super sad that she was obviously, this is not a spoiler. This is like out on, this is a big
Yeah.
deal, but she was with child. She was pregnant, and Roman Polanski's wife, and she was murdered with three. I didn't know this. One of the people that was there was like the heir to the freaking Folgers empire. Yeah, like legit. Yeah.
Wow.
So, yeah, it's crazy stuff, man. But there were those Manson family were some freaks, bro.
Yeah, yeah. It's But the ranch is a good scene. I like when he's at the ranch. That's a good scene. But one of my favorite Tarantino films.
Yeah, anybody that's still watching with us, if you've seen this, please type in the chat what your thoughts were, or if you've not seen it, go out tonight and watch it. It's 2 hours and 40 minutes. No, I'm just kidding. But no, I agree. I think I'm happy I was able to see it finally, and I feel that, dude, Margot Robbie really is a great actor. She's awesome. And Brad Pitt and DiCaprio. Like, I've actually heard the new Netflix movie with DiCaprio, I heard, is like really bad, but I still want to see it. Something about up in the air, something up or the air. I don't know what it's called. I can look. Let me see. It is called.
Yeah, I mean Kurt Russell's in Once Upon a Time. Don't Look Up. Okay, yeah,
Don't look up. Yeah, I heard my parents saw it, and again, this is my parents, but I've heard it from other people that said it was pretty shitty. So.
Nice.
But yeah, it's Don't Look Up. Okay. So that's the overall main movies, but we wanted to touch on a couple of other honorable mentions. So From Dusk Till Dawn, which was directed by Robert Rodriguez and stars Tarantino, George Clooney, and a bunch of other folks. Harvey Keitel's in that. Cheech Marin has a small role in that. Selma Hayek's in that. This movie is crazy, but he's an interesting actor in this, Tarantino himself.
Yeah, so he actually wrote the script for it, and my buddy Sega Blocks, if he's watching or if he watches this, if he's on, he loves Selma Hayek.
Oh yeah, no, I mean I don't blame him. No.
Yeah.
And again, she's crazy because isn't she a vampire in this? Right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. And so this is also before George Clooney was super popular. This came out in what? Was this 94?
I think it was 96 maybe.
Was it? Okay. And like I'll tell you, like the stories, they're brothers, right? It's been a while since I saw it, but they're brothers, and it's crazy, like about vampires and again a bunch of killing and different things. But this is a great movie, and he's not the greatest actor. He's really not. He's so funny in Pulp Fiction. Like he's so bad in it, but I feel like it works so well. But it's definitely worth a watch.
Yeah, he definitely likes to put himself in his movies. I mean, he was in Reservoir Dogs, but he doesn't ever make it.
No, and GCG just said in the chat, GameCube Galaxy said, yeah, Sega Blocks definitely has a thing for Selma Hayek. That's awesome. Blowing him up. I love it. That's good stuff.
But awesome. underneath the vampires and the gore, or Cheech being Cheech, if you can find a better there's a pretty unique story at its core.
Yeah, no, it is, and it's been so long since I've seen it. I got to go back and watch it again. But I remember I have it. I know I have it on Blu-ray, but I don't think they released it on 4K yet. Maybe they recently just did. I can't remember. But Robert Rodriguez, as a director, he's done everything. Like he's done this. Didn't he do Spy Kids? Like he did like a whole bunch of
Spy
crazy
Kids
shit. Yeah, like he's done everything. Yeah. And he's actually more recently, he's actually been directing some episodes of The Mandalorian, I believe.
Okay.
I think he might have actually done some of the new Boba Fett stuff too. Let me look because I want to double check. Robert Rodriguez.
I haven't watched much of it, but I am not a Boba Fett fan.
No, like just in general, or just
no for the series. Okay. For the show, I like The Mandalorian, but I don't like Boba Fett.
So have you watched the first three?
Just the first.
Just the first one. It's a little slow. Let me see, director. Yeah, the Book of Boba Fett. So Robert Rodriguez directed Chapter 1 and Chapter 3 so far. He did The Mandalorian Chapter 14.
Okay. Yeah, he's definitely a great director.
Yeah, he's done didn't he do Hostel too? Was that him? No, that was Eli Roth, I think.
Yeah, Eli Roth. Well, Eli Roth did the first one for sure.
Yep. That movie was some crazy shit, man. I can't watch that. Like, I'm not a big fan of Saw. Like, I never was a big fan of those real brutality. Like, I don't know, horror. I don't know.
Have you seen Hostel 2?
No.
So Hostel 2 is a real reason why I don't want to travel abroad.
Is he gonna
Like,
die?
oh man, they just sell off Americans to like, masochists. I mean,
All right, so yeah, so he directed Spy Kids in 2001, Spy Kids 2, 2002. His first ever like full movie was Desperado, and then we're gonna touch on it now. But Four Rooms, Four Rooms was a film that basically I know that Tarantino directed a segment of this. It's basically like four different segments, and the directors on here are um, Allison Anders, Alexandra Rockwell, Robert Rodriguez, and I think Tarantino. Yeah, Quentin Tarantino and Chuck Jones. So I've never actually seen it. I've heard interesting things about it. I want to go back and watch this one, but it's called Four Rooms, and it was directed by four different. This was in 1995.
okay. Yeah, this one I have no um, background with at all until we talked about it the other day.
Four interlocking tales that take place in a fading hotel on New Year's Eve. So we should go back and watch this one, and we'll do some homework, and we'll talk about it at some point on one of our shows that we have going on.
Yeah, for sure. So everybody that's on the chat or watching, we're still doing Sarah Connor Chronicles,
We
but
are.
while we're in the middle of the season break, right? Because season two is starting. We have that episode ready to go and ready to roll out. But we wanted to get this out as a kind of segue between like what RGC is about.
Right. So Retro Gamer Chronicles is going to be focused on. We're going to just be doing many different topics, and we're still going to finish, as David mentioned, the Sarah Connor Chronicles. So that will be dropping relatively soon. That episode. And we're going to try to do, we talked about it a little bit, like literally David was like, we talked about like a few months ago about doing Tarantino movies or something. And then like, I think it was Friday, you're like, we should do the podcast soon. I'm like, let's do it Sunday. Like, it worked out great. I was able to get my audio set up here going and get, what am I using here? OBS and everything else set up and camera stuff. But it's been working out great. So yeah, so our goal is to try to do a podcast like twice a month. We're going to really, our goal here is David and I really want to get the community involved. So we're going to start doing some like giveaways, tuning into the stream. We have some great gear we can give away or different things. We want to try to help out, get some folks to watch some. There we go. Another plug for the Game Mode Retro t-shirt. And I will say, because of David, because of the lame dad, there's blue in that logo there because it pops, and he's like, so I showed him a couple of different examples. He's like, yeah, go to the blue one because it makes it pop, and it does look really cool. I like it.
Yeah, no, it turned out really well. It's a pretty solid tee. Happy with it.
Thank you.
I'm even happier that you sent it to me. That's awesome.
Yeah, right. Yeah, anytime, dude. So I do have some other there, but yes, what GameCube put in there, GameCube Galaxy. Reservoir Dogs is one I've wanted to watch but never got around to, sadly. I would definitely make the time to watch that. Go into it with a open mind, because it really is it's a crazy film. That's a crazy film.
Yeah, it's one of my favorites. What he was able to do with that movie with hardly any money, and Harvey Keitel actually went in and took like a huge pay cut to help produce this movie. And so the limited budget to be one of the greatest films ever made really speaks about who he is as a director.
Yeah, Steve Buscemi's in this.
Yeah.
Just a lot of great actors, and it just looking back on some of this stuff, like I can't believe that some of these guys like Samuel L. Jackson would do this in Pulp Fiction, and look where his career is, and it just Reservoir Dogs is great. I would definitely check that one out. If I was going to start anywhere, I would go chronological order, start there, and then go all the way down through all of his movies. He is somebody that I think, I don't want to say underrated, because I definitely think he's got a lot of props, but I think that he's as good or better than Scorsese, but I don't think he gets enough credit for that, unfortunately.
Yeah, chronological order. Good.
So real quick, so does Tiger Chainsaw not know movies? Is that the joke?
Tiger Chainsaw does not know movies at all.
That's awesome.
And I'm talking like movies, like movies that like TC. If you're listening, you gotta watch it now because I'm putting you on blast to the whole world. Like he hasn't seen Back to the Future.
Whoa, wait. He hasn't seen Back to the Future? If Bill was watching right now, I probably just fell off his chair. Like Back to the Future 1, 2, and 3, like those are some of the greatest films of like get the out of here.
Three's a bit rough, but yeah, the first two. I mean, it's a solid series.
Look at this. Look at this.
He,
Roads where we're going, we don't need roads behind me up there. Look at that. That's how dedicated of a fan I am.
but he did say, and I don't know, TC something else, and the dude's awesome. But yeah, he says he's never seen the Terminators.
I just saw that. So GameCube just said he also has never seen like Terminator 2 is like you come on, you can't have a channel. But I will say, Tiger Chainsaw is awesome. He's got go check him out. For those that are watching Tiger Chainsaw,
Yes.
his show, I think his episode number 3 of his talk show is launching tomorrow. He's an
Yes, yeah.
awesome guy.
Yeah, I'm really excited for his episode tomorrow. He does some fantastic content, and I was talking to him a little bit on Friday. Like when I see his show, like I see Jimmy Fallon, late night video game talk show host. He puts a lot of time into it.
Yep.
And yeah, he's an awesome guy. Again, GameCube Galaxy, thank you for dropping by. Another fantastic content creator. Retro Comparisons. Anybody that's out there watching this, there's some awesome channels on here that put together a lot of really good content.
Speaking of that, so GameCube Galaxy and Retro Comparisons, I feel like their channels have been blowing up like crazy. Bill just launched a couple of really good videos last week, and then he sent it out to a content creator as well who has like 1.2 million subscribers, and he put one of Bill's videos out there, and Bill's numbers jumped up. I know GameCube Galaxy, a great content. Dude, your videos just like around the GameCube releases and just the different, feedback that you put into the games are awesome. And you're definitely getting a lot of. I'm jealous of a lot of these. I'm trying to get people like involved in like posting and things like that. It's just like sometimes it's hard to hit the right topic. But the GameCube right now is like blowing up. The games are so expensive, and people are just like loving that console right now.
Yeah, you're definitely doing a fantastic job. And again, your video that came out today was awesome to watch. I told you the other day I've yet to watch a GameCube Galaxy video that I didn't like.
Yeah, it's like you can tell, like people like Bill and GameCube Galaxy, like you can tell these guys they like hate to pat ourselves in the back too, but we put time into these videos, and like you can really see that when you watch some of this stuff and some of the knowledge that these folks. We have a great community of folks here, and it's just a lot of fun. So we are super grateful for all that we're here and supporting the stream tonight. And as David and I mentioned, we're going to try to keep this going. So if you have any podcast topics or anything you want to talk about, I know, David, I think you're also a wrestling fan. I've seen you wear an NWO shirt before, so we can go all over the spectrum. We can do wrestling, we could do video games, we could do pop culture, we can do, all that stuff. So this RGC podcast is not going to just feature video games. We know we took kind of a shot here with the Sarah Connor Chronicles and with Tarantino movies, because we know a lot of our following is around video games. But we also know that besides Tiger Chainsaw, a lot of people like to watch movies and also play video games.
Oh, that guy. TC, you're awesome, brother. You are. I just got to give you a hard time.
Yes, no, we love him for sure. But David, anything else that you kind of want to add or anything you want to wrap up as we're winding down here?
No, I think this has been fun. It's been fun that we're doing this live and hanging out and chatting with some great guys and great channels here. I look forward to more streams as they come up.
Live without a net, man. It's been a lot of fun. I'm looking forward. This is my first ever live stream, so I'm done with that one. So I'm excited about that. We're getting some great comments here from Retro Comparisons, Bill, and GameCube Galaxy. Retro Comparisons, your videos are legit. Yeah, I mean, I'm telling you guys, like some of the stuff that like I think the folks that we have in our community, which is a lot of them, but I think a lot of folks that I'm close with, like through you, David, we do a lot of great content, and there's a lot of channels that should have a billion subscribers, for crying out loud.
Yeah.
All right. Well, awesome. So, yeah, this has been a lot of fun, and we should probably be back in a couple of weeks. We're going to think about some more topics. So anything you'd like to see, please reach out to myself or David. But this has been a lot of fun. Tarantino, go watch some of those movies. I'm going to go rewatch Inglourious Basterds this week. It's one of my topics. And I also want to go back and watch. What else do I want to watch? I want to rewatch. You got to watch Jackie Brown. So that's on your homework. I want to go back and watch Inglourious Basterds, and I think I'm going to try to figure out where Four Rooms is. I want to watch Four Rooms, so that's on my stuff there. Oh, Mike C in the house.
Mike C
Dude,
here.
Mike C. Okay, so Mike C and Shotgun, who's on a lot of our videos and commenting, like these guys, man, like they're so dedicated to giving like really honest, quality feedback. I'm so thankful that we have subscribers like them. They do awesome history and stories they share with us. So.
Yeah, absolutely. Mike C, you are a legend, man. I always appreciate a good Mike C comment because you are genuine, and I do appreciate it very much. And Mike, if you haven't checked out GameCube Galaxy or RC Retro Comparisons, please do. Man, they are putting out some fantastic content.
So Mike C came to me from Bill's channel. So on Retro Comparisons.
Okay, nice.
Yep. So Mike, we got him over here. Actually, I think I got Shotgun from there as well. And just like my whole thing is like, when people take time to write comments like that, that's why we do what we do. I sound like such a bonehead saying that probably, but that's why I do this, because it's like I don't want to put it out there just for me. Yeah, it's partly for me to like do something other than my job or our jobs, right? And it's just like it's fun when people actually resonates with them, you know?
Absolutely, it definitely makes a huge difference.
Yes, sir. So all right, well, hey, we're gonna stop the stream soon, but this will be up live in a few minutes here. You guys can rewatch and we share it with your friends as well. But we do appreciate you guys checking us out. And this has been the RGC podcast, our first ever live stream. I am Eric for Game Mode Retro.
And I am David, the lame dad.
You are the coolest lame dad I've ever met. We appreciate you all, and we will see you all real soon.
All right, guys, y'all take care.